Okay, so get this. We found this text, right?
Yeah.
And it's talking about this thing that calls the law of self-permission.
Okay.
And basically is saying we don't need to wait around for anybody else to give us permission to do the things.
Oh,
Like we
interesting.
can just go after what we want, like on our own terms.
That's
It's kind of blowing my mind a little.
yeah, no, it's definitely like deeper than just like a confidence booster or something.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
It's more like completely changing how we think about, what we're allowed to do and be.
Yeah, exactly. Like how often are we all just kind of sitting around waiting for someone to tell us it's okay to go for it?
Right, right.
So, okay, living life on your own terms.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great, obviously, but what does that actually look like, day to day?
Like, is it just quitting your job and like, taking off to Bali?
Haha, exactly. Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, I mean, hey, if that's what truly aligns with your values, then go for it.
I mean, sure.
But for most of us, it's probably going to start a little slower, right?
Right.
It's about really understanding what you value,
Okay.
not what your parents value or what society says you should value,
Got it.
but what truly matters to you.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then once you have a good grasp on that, then you can start making decisions that really resonate with those values.
I like that, resonate. So even if those decisions like go against the grain, or maybe they're not what people expect of you.
Exactly.
So it's like we're actually like holding ourselves back
Yeah.
by waiting for that permission. That's wild.
Yeah. And you know what else this text emphasizes?
What's that?
Action. Like, it's not enough to just sit around and think about what you want.
Okay.
You got to actually, like, do something about it.
Take action.
Yes.
I like that. Take action.
And it's not about being reckless, but about, like, calculated risks,
Right.
trusting your gut.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was starting out in my career, right?
Yeah.
I had this, like, burning desire to specialize in this very, very niche area, right?
Okay.
And everyone I talked to was like, no, that's way too risky. Stick to the safe path, the tried and true. But I knew down
You knew.
that it was the right move for me.
Wow.
So I took the leap.
You took the leap.
And you know what? It turned out to be like one of the best decisions I ever made.
Wow. That's a perfect example. I think we've all had those moments where we've hesitated to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Because, what will people think?
Right.
What if I fail?
Right.
All that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we apply this law,
Yeah.
like, are we basically just saying, like, silence those doubts?
Yes.
And just give ourselves permission to go for it?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired already.
Good.
But, okay, let's say someone's listening to this, and they're like, okay, I'm on board. I want to flex this self-permission muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But they're feeling stuck.
Okay.
They're not even sure where to begin.
Start small.
How do they start small?
Ask yourself, what's one thing I've been putting off because I felt I needed someone else's permission?
Okay.
Could be anything, right? Like taking a pottery class,
Yeah.
maybe finally voicing that opinion you've been holding back in meetings.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever it is, no matter how small it seems,
Yeah.
give yourself permission to do it.
Just do it.
You might be surprised by how freeing it feels.
Like liberated.
Yeah, exactly. Liberated.
I love that. So it's like taking those small steps
Mm-hmm.
and then gradually building up to like the bigger leaps.
Precisely.
Cool.
And each time you act on your own validation,
Mhm.
you reinforce that inner trust.
And you're like strengthening that muscle.
Exactly.
So the more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
Yes.
I see.
And the text even calls it a law for a reason.
Oh, why? Right.
It's about shifting your default mode from one of seeking approval to one of self-reliance and empowerment.
That is powerful. This has been, I got to say, really eye-opening. So today, we explored this idea, this law of self-permission,
Mm-hmm.
which encourages us to move away from needing that external validation.
Yeah.
And instead, trust our own judgment. And then take action
Yes.
based on what matters to us as individuals. And before we wrap up, I think you had a final thought for our listeners.
Yeah, I do. So I want you to imagine, right, that you woke up tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
and you needed absolutely no one's permission but your own.
Ooh.
What would you do differently?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a question we should all ask ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everybody. And remember, you have the power to give yourself permission to live a life that is true to you. We'll see you next time.